Next, a journey up the monster river of South America. A journey into the unknown, a river teeming with monsters at every turn. It truly is the lair of giants. My name is Jeremy Wade. I'm an explorer, a biologist, and fishing detective.
Fish on!
I've made a career out of investigating cases of freshwater monsters, accused of the most heinous of crimes. All they got in was bones. My calling in life has taken me to all four corners of the world, and I thought I'd seen it all.
What a freshwater monster this thing is.
But I was wrong. I'm about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. And it's only now, after 25 years of experience, that I'm ready to take on a mission of this size and scale. This is not the hunt for a single monster, but a journey to an entire river system full of monsters.
Monsters do exist in this place.
It's now more than 25 years that I've been hunting monsters. But what I've stumbled across here is something special, something bigger. Not a single species, but an entire river system full of monsters. I've come to the other side of the world to fulfill an ambition of a lifetime, to explore this lost river, to see for myself just what monsters might live here, real or imagined, old or new. The river's name is the Essequibo. It flows through the country of Guyana, in the northern part of South America. It's the secret corridor into one of the largest, most unexplored swathes of rainforest anywhere in the world. The perfect hideout for giants. But in this place, finding monsters by myself would be impossible. To unlock the secrets of what lives in the remote interior, I'm going to spend time with the tribes who live out there. To reach this forbidding dark heart, the only vein that I can follow is the Essequibo. So my plan is to travel up this river on an expedition deep into this unknown land, to discover how many monsters this lost world really is hiding. For me, this is a journey into the unknown, a journey up the Monster River. But I need to find someone to take me, and my best chance of doing that is at Bartica, nearly 50 miles upriver. Bartica is a revolving door between the modern world and one of the greatest wildernesses on Earth. Its population is an exotic mix of African, Indian, and European blood. But Guyana is also home to 9 indigenous Amerindian tribes. It's my last chance to gather provisions. People in fish markets speak my language. I'm getting an idea of what fish are here. What's this fish called?
Basha. But right now we only got basha.
This is the time for basha, yeah. A strange looking fish, this. I've not seen anything like that before. This one grow very big or is always small?
Not very big. This actually mature size.
Yeah, okay. There's everything here. Although there are no monsters in the market, I am told about a giant catfish that lives in the Essequibo, known locally as the Lau Lau. It's not a name I'm familiar with, but this man is talking about something huge. Can you tell me what is the biggest laulau that you've seen coming out of this river?
The biggest one I've seen is about 180 pounds.
180. I've learned that monster fish, like outlaws, can have many aliases.
This is quite a monstrous beast.
So is the mysterious laulau a new river monster, or one I've encountered before, under a different name? Okay, bye-bye.
See you again.
Okay. I have my first target. I've bought some bait. Now I need to find a way into this lost world. Looking for a boat, I wander towards the edge of town and stumble across something I wasn't expecting.
Well, I've certainly found some monsters. But these are modern monsters.
Gold dredgers. The river is dotted with a whole fleet of them. They're immensely destructive, sucking up the riverbed using huge vacuums and sifting the gold deposits from the sediment. I know from experience that nature's giants are the first to disappear in the face of human progress. Wherever there are gold dredgers, it's unlikely I will find any monsters.
The impact of all this activity in this part of the river just makes me realise that I've got to go beyond where these mechanical monsters can reach.
This is now a race against time, against human progress. I've waited a lifetime to look for monsters in this lost land, but am I too late? A local guide, Big Bell, sets me up with a boat for tomorrow and reassures me that there are still monsters out there.
Does anybody catch laulau here now?
Yeah.
What
Sometimes during last week, they caught one of my size.
the same size as you?
Yeah. But you might have to be a lucky boy to get a big one like that.
Challenge accepted. In the morning, I leave Bartica in the company of Brian, a Wapishana Indian. We're heading for an Amerindian village called Upakari, another 250 miles into this watery wilderness. There, Brian tells me, there are monsters. As we travel, it becomes clear why this river is so unknown. In this labyrinth of channels, tributaries, lakes and dead ends, it would be easy to get lost. And without Brian and his local knowledge, in this vast wilderness, I could disappear forever. Our plan is to set up a basic camp on the riverbank each night to sleep. Back from the water are telltale signs of what this river is capable of. Where I'm walking has all the appearance of normal dry land, but all around me there are signs that in the wet season this is all underwater. It'll be over my head. So this really is an in-between world. This land is underwater for months every year, a perfect place for monsters to hide. And these frequent stops allow me to test my theory that the further we travel from the coast and from people, the more monsters there should be. Perhaps the laulau I've heard about is hiding here. Just starting to get dark, and it has that feeling, I don't know, it has that feeling that there could be something moving around under the surface. For me, the adventure truly begins when my bait first hits the surface of a river that I've never fished before. As always, I fish using heavy tackle, sea fishing rigs. If I'm to hook a monster laulau, I don't want to be outgunned. My night vision camera reveals that I'm not alone out here in the pitch dark. Giant cockroaches roam the bottom of my boat.
But are there any monsters out there? I'm about to find out. I'm fulfilling the ambition of a lifetime, hunting for a whole cast of monsters in a lost world. A world that I can only penetrate by traveling along a barely explored river called the Essequibo in South America, which snakes through one of the largest tracts of unsport rainforest anywhere in the world. But to find my monsters, I must fish at every opportunity.
It has that feeling that there could be something moving around under the surface.
I've been given the name of a mysterious giant catfish by a man in the fish market. He called it the Lau Lau, and I'm here to find one. Have I hooked my first Essequibo monster?
Just going to tire herself out of it. That is, I don't know what they call it here, but it's that's a different type of catfish. A very, very whiskery one.
My guide, Brian, recognizes it.
What's it called, Brian?
Barbado.
It's the same name as in Brazil, barbado.
I've caught these fish before, but never as big as this.
Barbado, which literally means bearded, and a very, very impressive set of whiskers on this. They're not round in cross-section, they're almost like an aircraft wing or something. They're flat.
Elsewhere, a good barbado weighs just a couple of pounds, but this guy must be close to 10. It's my first indication that this place could be extraordinary.
The one I want would have this for breakfast. This one's going to go back.
It's my first fish from the Essequibo. Could it mean that I have moved beyond the influence of gold dredgers and human progress? If that's true, then my monster hunt can begin in earnest. So we push on ever deeper. Brian and I fall into an easy routine of traveling, fishing and camping.
It's just perfectly untouched.
But if the fish aren't biting, there are plenty of things that are. Apart from mosquitoes that might carry malaria, there are a million other things to be wary of, sometimes in the most unexpected places.
This is actually on my hammock. If that was to get inside and join me, I could possibly spend the entire week in my hammock. Very, very itchy hairs these things have.
Since I'm in South America, I fish using a wire trace because of one thing: piranhas. These voracious predators snip through normal fishing line in an instant. They are always a problem, no matter where I am in South America, often stripping the bait from my hook in moments, long before the monster I'm hunting gets a chance.
So much for piranhas not feeding at night. That's a piranha. It's actually very frustrating. Every bait I'm throwing out is getting attacked, but unfortunately it's by piranhas. Ah, piranha again.
But I don't think it's the piranhas that are keeping me from catching a monster. I simply haven't gone deep enough.
Oh, what happened? I was winding as fast as I could, trying to push the point home.
As I finally start to get some bites, the rainforest lives up to its name.
This time of year is meant to be the dry season. I don't mind the discomfort if there's a chance of catching fish, but the problem with high water is that those fish are just spread out. But all I can do really is just hope that I do connect with something.
Tropical rainstorms like this can last days. Luckily, this is more of a passing shower. As we cover more and more miles, I still have nothing to show for my efforts but that one alien-looking barbado. So, out of desperation to catch this mysterious lau-lau, I start fishing with 2 rods. I don't like doing this because I like to feel my line at all times, but at least now there's an increased chance of a pickup.
That's a large Guyana. This is one monster I wasn't expecting here, but this is a good-sized Biologist, or vampire fish. Those fangs there in the upper jaw, they're so long that they actually recess into holes inside the upper jaw.
Biologist use those teeth to puncture the swim bladders of their fishy prey. But now I'm reminded of a drawback to using 2 rods.
Hold on. Going back.
Whatever it is, it's ripping off line. Could it be the mysterious lau-lau?
And that's a red-tailed catfish. They call it a banana catfish here, I think because of the banana-like colour. These grow over 100 pounds, and they've got this monstrous huge head that's almost about 1/3 the size of the body. Nice to catch this and to see that there are fish on the move, but the fish that I'm after is actually 2, possibly 3 times the length of this, and maybe even 10 times the weight.
But this is still a good fish, and it appears my theory is right. The further I travel from the mouth of the river and civilization, the more monsters there are to find.
Good sign, but I'm after something much bigger than that.
But right now, I have more pressing concerns. To get further up this river and to the village of Upakari, Brian tells me we have to pass through the Rapu Rapids, a maze several miles long of jagged rocks, stony shallows and tumbling rapids, where if you take the wrong turn, it can easily end in disaster. Only a few of the locals know the safe passage through. So we stop at an Amerindian village, the first I have seen, to enlist some help. As Brian goes in search of a guide, it gives me a chance to make friends.
Hello, what is your name?
Surprisingly, even this deep in a remote jungle, I am understood. Since it's an ex-British colony, many people in Guyana speak English. Not only that, nearly everyone is a fisherman.
So this is a container full of nuts here. You get a little sort of grub that lives inside. If we cut this one, if we find inside? Ah, oh yeah! Look at that. What his name? It's a kukridwa. Ah, he's huge. It's very big. Wow. There you go, look at that. I can understand fish liking that.
After a long wait in the hot sun, our river pilot introduces himself as Captain Stanley.
Hello, good afternoon. Jeremy.
Oh, okay, very nice.
Like Brian, he's a Wapishana and one of only a few people who know the safe route through the rapids.
Really get my toe.
Before we set out, I ask him about the monsters that lurk out here. He tells me about one called the Shupi-Tu. It is another new name to me, but down at the river, he shows me where it lives.
You got 2 rocks where it is the place. lay down top rock. As soon as he see you, jump.
As I try to find out more, the Shippy 2 leaves the real world and becomes something much more fantastic.
The people say that it's dangerous.
They're dangerous, yeah.
Why?
Cold rain, heavy rain, thunder.
So it can cause bad, dangerous weather, but does it attack people as well?
Yeah, attack people. So when it gets you, it hook you from here.
Yeah. So actually pull you under the water.
Yeah, pull you under water. Most people are frightened.
So most people are frightened of this place.
Yeah.
The Shippy 2 is new to me, but it reminds me of monsters I have been warned about before. Mythical beasts created by the imagination of local people to try to explain unknown dangers hidden beneath the surface of the water. But experience tells me there is always a glimmer of truth in these tales. In Japan, the mysterious kappa was a huge salamander. In Lake Iliamna, Alaska, the monster was inspired by a giant sturgeon. And the Maori legend I investigated in New Zealand turned out to be a huge eel.
Look at that, look at that, look at that!
I wonder what real creature could have inspired this fisherman hooking monster, the Shippy 2.
And people, do they say it still lives here?
I believe so. It's still there.
There's only one thing for me to do: get out there. Can I catch whatever it is that might have inspired the Shippy 2? Does the mysterious Lau Lau catfish have anything to do with this killer? I may be on the verge of confronting a legend. I'm on the quest of a lifetime, on South America's Essequibo River. I've traveled 200 miles into the wilderness to discover a lost world full of monsters. I've been told of a giant catfish called the Lau Lau, and a mysterious beast called the Shippy 2 that hooks and drowns fishermen. It's believed to live in this pool and in the rapids a little further upstream. Although I know it's a myth, I can't help but be wary.
Get clear of this other line.
What my Amerindian guide Stanley described was supernatural. What I have on my line is completely real. Brian recognizes it straight away. This is the Lau Lau. But I know this fish by a different name. To me, this is a piraiba.
So this is the real monster skinfish, as they call them here, the Lau Lau.
I've investigated cases in Brazil where these freshwater giants were suspected of being man-eaters. To find them living here is a surprise.
This one here is about 30 or 40 pounds, something like that. And these fish grow to 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 feet long. And very unusual for a catfish. They're incredibly streamlined, very strong. And yeah, when they grow big, I mean, just imagine this thing, 9 or 10 feet long. Absolutely monstrous fish.
The piraiba, or Lau Lau as it's called here, is one of the biggest freshwater fish on planet Earth. Although this catch can't be described as a monster, what it means is that the river system I'm exploring is indeed capable of supporting true freshwater giants. I wonder what else is waiting for me down there. We head deeper into the rainforest, towards the village of Yupukari. But to reach it, we still have to pass through the Rapu Rapids. With the riddle of the Shupi-2 still on my mind, I keep a lookout for anything mysterious lurking on the rocks of the monster's lair. Finally, we make it out onto relatively calm water. But if I thought we'd made it through the lair of the mythical Shupi-2 unscathed, I was wrong. I have to turn back. There's been an accident with my film crew following behind us. It's the boat that carries our camera gear.
Everyone's okay, but one boat, there was a collision. One boat was flipped over. It's the main camera. The main camera is under the water somewhere.
We're lucky no one was hurt. It could have been a horrifying end to this journey. Brian manages to get the boat engine going again. Luckily, we're just a few miles from the only village in this entire area. So we limp on to Apotere to regroup and consider our options.
Still trying to absorb the events of today, which could have left us potentially with 2 crew members gone, dead, and really as serious as that.
It occurs to me that perhaps I brought this upon us by fishing in the mythical Shupi-2's territory, challenging it. But my rational mind kicks in. It had to be just a freak accident. In the hot light of day, it's clear we've all come too far to turn back now. Although the Shupi-2's lair is now behind me, any doubts I had that there are real monsters living here are blown away when I meet Augustine.
So okay to sit here? Yeah? Yeah.
When it grabbed me,
Yeah.
knocked me under the water, and carried me good from here to there. Lucky for me, I hold on to this wood here.
Yeah. If that wood hadn't been there, then...
Yeah, he would have carried me away. He tried to come back,
Yes, yeah.
to attack me again. Like, I didn't feel this damage, right away.
So when you came out, did you say was your arm gone, or was it just badly broken and bleeding?
Well, it broke my hand very terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the skin. My hand just swinging. A lot of blood is draining out.
Only South America's apex river predator is capable of doing this damage, but I didn't think they were here.
Was this a caiman that did this?
Yeah, for this black caiman.
Black caiman. Gosh.
And this is the teeth mark.
Yes.
Augustine's accident was many years ago, but he says big black caimans still haunt this river, although I've yet to see any. These caiman could well be the monsters of Yupukari that Brian told me about at the very start of this adventure. What I want to know is whether these giant prehistoric reptiles are still here in the Essequibo. This place really is full of surprises. The unbroken forest that has accompanied me for hundreds of miles on both banks is now replaced on one side by a huge natural savanna. It's on the dividing line between the two that the village of Yupukari sits. Brian and I say our goodbyes, and he points me in the direction of the aptly named Cayman House. Here, I meet with caiman expert Fernando, who remembers the time when they reigned supreme.
When I was younger, and we used to go fishing at nights, so soon as we turn the spotlight on our torch lights, you would just see eyes in the river. And I mean, there was like a city out there.
I mean, are people afraid of them here? I mean, because
yeah, well, everybody here, when you used to see a caiman, we go to Island Bow and you just shoot them for fun. But I mean, they're seen as a bad thing. But now, because of what we're doing in Ukraine, the whole project and thing, they're getting a better idea of it, and you see a lot less attack on caimans.
Hunted to near extinction, the black caiman here are now protected. Fernando leads a group of researchers studying them and has a newfound respect for the returning monsters.
I mean, they're very smart, especially when they go into catch a prey. They would, see it in the distance and average and go underwater. Especially the dogs, I've seen caiman take dogs. They would go at the edge of the bank, slow. Sometimes they go on and come up.
Fernando invites me to join a nighttime caiman search. I don't really want to know how dangerous this could be. I've travelled hundreds of miles on this river and haven't seen any caiman, but I get the feeling that on this stretch, we're not alone. If we find a caiman, Fernando will try to lasso it and bring it to shore for inspection. Night is the best time for hunting caiman. Their eyes reflect the flashlight beam shining red in the darkness. It's also the best time for the human imagination to run wild. Those who don't understand why there are so many mythical river monsters need only to experience complete darkness in a boat, deep in a rainforest. Tonight, I know our target is real, but having seen what it is capable of, reality is cold comfort.
So close.
Monster Week continues next, only on Animal Planet. I have arrived at Upakari, a village over 300 river miles into the lost world of the Essequibo. I've been told this place harbours monsters. En route, I've been trying to find and catch as many monsters as I can, to prove that this really is one of the wildest rivers on Earth. I've joined a team hunting for the largest predator in these waters, the black caiman. Like many predators, caiman are explosive hunters, but they eventually run out of steam, which allows us to secure it and haul it to shore. I keep Augustine's story in my mind. I have seen what these creatures are capable of. Fernando and his team have been studying the caiman population here for the past 5 years. Black caiman were hunted to near extinction, but protection has seen their numbers rise. The monsters are returning.
337 centimeters.
Just over 11 feet?
Yeah. Biggest we've caught was 12 feet 2 inches. And that one weighed about 400 pounds. We've seen some big ones out there and hope to catch them soon.
The black caiman in this relatively forgotten river are some of the biggest on Earth.
225 kilos.
275 pounds, pretty well on the dot.
But the most dangerous part of this whole capture is yet to come. Fernando tells me that after being set free, it's not unusual for the angry reptile to chase its captors up the beach.
Just be aware that when the tape comes off, he's slow. And you can't stand there.
Step back.
Just go closer to us.
Is this good here?
Not
No further back.
Yeah?
Yeah, that would do.
Just be aware though, we're gonna...
Right. Okay.
Oh. Okay, now we go. Come off again.
For me, seeing this creature in the flesh just underlines the idea that nature can inspire myths. A glimpse of this dragon-like caiman at night could easily be transformed into a fantastic monster.
New experience for me, but quite a monstrous animal to see that thing close up. Real beast.
So far, this adventure has lived up to all my expectations. I've already discovered in this little-known river system some of the largest species of river monster on the planet. Oh. But I've barely scratched the surface. To really unlock the door to this lost world, Fernando sends me to a village called Rewa. It's the last human habitation on the river. Beyond, if my theory is correct, lies the greatest undisturbed lair of giants I have ever explored. And I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm here to fulfill the ambition of a lifetime. And so far, I haven't been disappointed. The final leg of my adventure starts at the village of Rewa. It's the last human outpost on the river. Beyond are hundreds of square miles of barely explored rainforest. Out there, I believe that the monsters could not only be larger than anywhere else, but also they may not be found anywhere else. In a place this remote, creatures could evolve undisturbed for millennia. And here, after 3 weeks and over 500 river miles, I stand the best chance I've ever had of finding a monster I've never seen before.
Morning. Hi, I'm Jeremy.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Rewa.
Thank you.
My brother.
Hello. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Okay,
Hello.
welcome.
A tiny speck of humanity in an endless sea of green, sitting at the mouth of one of the many tributaries of the Essequibo. Beyond, there are no villages, settlements, or towns. Nothing but mile upon mile of pristine tropical rainforest.
Welcome to my house.
Thank you.
And for the Makushi of Rewa village, the river is their only connection with the outside world. It's just about as far from the modern world as you could wish to be.
That would be like September month.
I want to enlist some guides to take me into the forest beyond. But village etiquette demands that if I'm to stay here, I must first ask permission from the village chief, the Tushawa.
Morning.
Tushaw Patrick.
Morning to Sean Patrick. Hello, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Patrick. You're welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
In our village is 56 households. Mainly is Makushi,
Yes, yes.
and then Wapishana,
Yes.
and Putamana. So we are 3 tribes.
That sort of strikes me as unusual. Is, you know, you have your place here, other people move in, but everything's all, you know, everything becomes integrated, does it? Were there any problems at any point because of, no?
There are no conflicts here, so we all live together with the optional tribes. We all live together happily.
So no conflict, we just living as one.
Yeah.
The Makushi have taken on aspects of the modern world, but they still maintain strong traditional values, living much the same way that they have always done, tending crops grown in forest clearings, as well as hunting and fishing. So they have an intimate knowledge of the surrounding rivers, lakes and forests, a knowledge I am hoping they will share with me. I recognise that same easy hospitality that I've experienced in all remote communities. Rovin has kindly let me put my hammock up on his porch. I decide the best thing to do is spend time with them, to work out the right way to ask for a guide, to help me go further into the interior.
Sounds like it might be time to get up.
The following morning, I get my first chance.
We've just gone to a pond a short distance from the village just to catch something small for supper. No rods, left the rods back home. Just brought hand lines. Oh! That's simple. Look at Nani. That's fantastic. First cast over a branch. My next cast, I was treading on the line. Takes a little bit of mastering this. I like the simplicity of hand lining. Particularly travelling with rods, you know, still be unpacking them, delving under the tarpaulin, putting them together. The fact that you can just put it in your pocket and off you go. If you work too much to get your food, why bother?
Over the next few days, I spend time with Rovin out fishing. It feels like we're on the same wavelength, kindred spirits who love nothing more than being out in the wild, fishing. But despite all our angling, there's been no sign of any monsters. Then one day, with his brother Dennis in tow, we head to a deep rocky pool in the river, very different from the ponds we've been fishing in so far. There's a turbulent eddy that looks a likely fishing spot. This sort of fishing is my first real chance of showing the boys what I can do. The minute my bait hits the bottom, I make contact. Contact with something big.
This feels big.
I'm fishing with two brothers, Rovin and Dennis, Makushi Indians who live deep in South America's Guyanese rainforest. We've come to a deep pool in the river.
This feels big.
I want to prove to the boys that I know how to handle monsters, but I've no idea what this is.
Board on the surface. I didn't see the fish.
What I do know is that whatever I've hooked is too big to fight from the canoe.
It's here. Okay, Dennis, you all right to grab the fins?
This is what they call a jaru. Very, very solid-bodied, and they love fast, rocky, water like this. This was more or less straight under the boat. This has also got a reputation for being quite an aggressive catfish, grabbing other people's legs and things like that. I'm just going to have one last feel of the weight of this fish. My goodness.
It could weigh 90 pounds.
A lump of a fish.
It's further proof that monsters are hiding everywhere in this river. Back at the village, I'm granted the honor of an audience with one of the elders. As he speaks only Makushi, the brothers translate. The first thing he tells me is that strangers in the past have exploited the Makushi's fishing secrets.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. People would just come. They wouldn't talk to anybody in the village. They just go up the river, go to a pond, take some fish, and take them away.
Show them the ponds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So next time when they come back, they can't carry this other two away.
Next time when they come, they will not take the
because they don't know the ponds already.
They already know the ponds, so they will just go straight.
Yeah, yeah.
My first question is about what kinds of monsters, or uma as they call them here, live beyond the village. I wanted to understand that my intentions are honourable before asking about fish.
People, so they were like playing on this where this two river meet. They have an oma there.
Right.
And he was saying
back was like a saw.
The back was like a saw.
And just the uma, you said it had this back like a saw, but it would actually cut boats.
Cut the boat, everything was drowned.
So the people would disappear.
Disappear.
This saw-backed beast instantly brings to mind the serrated tail of the black caiman. Having seen what they can do to a metal boat, I wonder if a caiman might be the canoe-sinking uma. The next monster he tells me about has very definite reptile-like characteristics.
They had a place, them times, called already pond.
Yes.
A huge snake that swallows both people. 5 to 6 people would not kill them.
He could be referring to a giant anaconda, which is native to South America. There have been reports of them growing to over 30 feet long, but I've never seen anything even close to that length. Then, before I turn in for the night, they tell me about a huge fish hidden in a secret lake. With all the tales of mythic monsters ringing in my ears, it's this fish and its hidden home that teases my imagination the most. The next day, Dennis and Rovin agree to take me to this secret place. I could never find it on my own.
Heading off now for some time on the water, and from the look of it, I think we're going to be away for a few days. So this is where the fishing, at least, and the travelling gets a bit more serious.
Rovin tells me that where we're going, there will be no people, no villages, no communications. Just miles and miles of river and jungle. We will sleep beside the river, eat from the river, and travel as best we can into this remote and uninhabited place. This is where Rovin and Dennis grew up. To keep up with them, I'll have to work twice as hard. Up to now, I've been spoilt using boats with engines, but from here on, I'm traveling under my own steam. I have a feeling this adventure is going to push me to my limits. We hit our first obstacle, a set of rapids.
That water's moving, it's flowing towards you, and also there's slippery rocks down there. If Rovin on the road lost his footing, you know, everything could tip out. So mental concentration at a time when you're physically exhausted. But anyway, we've made it. We need to set up camp in daylight so we can see what we're doing. We've also got to catch something to eat. I've told the guys that supper is on me tonight.
Slightly challenging fishing conditions, very fast water. But what I'm trying to do with a backhand cast under the branches is just land it in as a nice little slack just on the edge of where that white water comes in. It's a good sized fish, this. Well, hey, look at that, look at that. That is just a lovely looking fish. What's also great about this fish is just catching it in water like this. I mean, really, really fast water. And that's a pacu, a pink pacu. I normally put my fish back. This one, because there's lots of them around here and because we're having to live off the land, we're going to keep that. We're going to grill that tonight.
The paddling has taken its toll on all of us. We're just happy to eat and sleep. As we trek deeper into this lost world, the idea that the monster of the secret lake could be something new to me, perhaps even new to science, pushes me on. In a place as remote and unique as this, anything seems possible. We get going early in the morning. To make the best progress, we stay close to the bank to keep out of the main current. As the river narrows, more of its character is revealed. Dennis tells me this short cut is new. The river has washed away a huge chunk of land. So not only do the annual floods swallow the forest, they can also change the river's course from one year to the next. I can see how an outsider could get hopelessly lost here, maybe never finding their way out.
This is actually as far as we can come by water, but there is a way past here, but it's going to be hard. Right, this is actually the easy bit, taking the bags up above the rapid, but after that's done, we're going to need to drag the boat, and these wooden dugouts weigh an absolute ton, and to do that we're going to need to put it on wooden rollers.
Rollers that we have to cut ourselves. This simple and ancient method, known as portaging, has been used for as long as there have been heavy wooden canoes. It's back-breaking work, but to get to the secret lake, I must get over these obstacles. With the wooden rollers in place, it's time to shift the canoe.
1, 2, 3!
This single, solid piece of wood weighs hundreds of pounds. If any of us loses control, it could easily break bones. A broken leg now would mean game over. You're watching Monster Week, only on Animal Planet. I'm fulfilling the ambition of a lifetime, exploring a lost world. With the help of two brothers from the Makushi tribe, in Guyana, in South America. We are heading to a secluded lake that they say hides a monster fish, but getting to it is proving harder than I ever expected. I've fallen between two rollers which keep the boat from landing on me. Luckily, I avoided a crushed pelvis. I'm not here to slow us down, so I grit my teeth and get on with it.
Right, this looks slippy here. Feels good to have that over with. Actually, there's quite a good fishing spot here. We're going to camp the other side of the river. But actually, that was just the warm-up act. Tomorrow, we've got to get over that.
But before we even consider how we'll get over the falls, we set camp and concentrate on catching our evening meal.
When was the first time you came up here?
What, 19?
Yeah.
19 years old.
So making a camp beside the river and catching fish and smoking fish, it's something you've just been doing for a long time, yeah. So you're really used to it. Yeah. Yeah. But when you were little and you left the village and you come out into the forest and you're camping, was that a big adventure, or is it quite frightening as well?
For me, very first time when I heard jaguars roaring, I was terrified.
How old were you when you saw your first jaguar?
I was 13 years old, 13, 14 years old.
13, 14?
Yeah. The presence of apex predators, such as jaguars, is further evidence of how unspoilt this wilderness must be. But the campfire conversation and this forest at night has got my imagination working overtime.
It's very easy for your eyes to play tricks on you in the dark. I'm just looking out of my mosquito net, and there's something that looks like almost like a jaguar's head, but it's actually, looking closer, it's just some leaves on the branch of a tree.
But even in daylight, this enchanting place, so far from other people, is having an effect on me. This adventure is physically demanding, but this way of life is starting to have an almost magical hold. And rather than fight it, I embrace it. And the more I do, the more it seems the forest and the river are willing to share their secrets.
So I literally just stumbled across this drawing on the rock, a petroglyph. Very worn, but still possible to see what this one is. It's a monkey. And apparently when the rains come, all this is underwater, so this has had a lot of erosion. So nobody actually knows who did these. The people travelling here now just say they're very, very old, and I think potentially they're even thousands of years old. Potentially there are some which were even older, which have now completely worn away. Maybe it was just a stopping point on the journey upriver as it is today, and people just hanging around. There's good fishing in the pool. Also, you're regaining a bit of energy to go over the rapids and just while away an hour or two drawing a monkey.
This discovery almost makes me feel like I'm traveling back in time, to an era even before the first European explorers, when monsters roamed our world. Monsters like the one hiding at my feet.
It's actually the biggest spider in the world, more like a crab in a way in terms of size than a spider. They've got very long fangs in here, about ½ an inch long.
The venom of these tarantulas is not deadly to humans, but out here a bite could quickly become infected. As both Dennis and Rovin are barefoot, I reckon it's better to get this thing out of the way.
I just gently prodded it away. What they do is they've got hairs on their abdomen and they'll scratch those off. They go into the air, they're very irritating. You get too close, they're going to stop you getting any closer. That is actually about the size of my hand, which is quite a thought. I'm talking about a spider here, the size of my hand.
For me, monstrous is a relative term. Spiders don't come any larger than this. It seems everything grows bigger in this mysterious place. And with it safely out of the way, I can get on with the next task, getting the canoe through the forest.
1, 2, 3, there!
The water here is too powerful, so we have to take the canoe on another detour to get above the falls.
2, 3!
In this tropical heat, it's grueling work. And through it all, regardless of how tiring, how physical it is, the three of us are in it together. The thought of a monster waiting in a hidden lake keeps me going. Over the following days, the river continues to narrow. With each passing river mile, I feel more and more a part of this place.
There's no doubt about it. The end of the day, when you take off the damp, dirty daytime clothes, get in the river, cool down, clean off, it just feels so good. It really makes you appreciate the small pleasures travelling like this.
I have stopped asking about our destination. I just trust the brothers to get us there.
Role reversal going on here. Using a bit of prana.
Rovin tells me it's not far now. It's the boost my tired muscles needed to hear. The anticipation is building, but I'm distracted by something at the water's edge. Something massive. I'm careful not to get too close.
I've seen anacondas before, but I've never seen one this big, this close, which really is an indication, I think, of just how special this place is.
I recall what the village elder told me before we set out, about snakes so big they can destroy boats and swallow people.
This one could possibly touch 20 feet. It's certainly sort of 17 or 18 feet. But more impressive than that, perhaps, is the girth. I mean, this is an incredibly thick-bodied snake. Probably at its widest point about the same as my waist, and that is, you know, over a length of the best part of 20 feet. That's going to add up to 250 pounds. This is the heaviest species of snake in the world, and here it is just a few feet away from me, and that's quite a unnerving feeling.
Anacondas can live for over 30 years. The largest reliable record for an anaconda was a colossal 25 feet long, although some people have claimed to have seen 50-footers. But out here, in this remote wilderness, the impossible seems even probable. This snake is so unused to people that it simply isn't scared of me. It's possible many animals out here have never seen a human being. And if that's the case, then could the reverse be true? Is there a creature out here that people don't know about? The answer may lie hidden in this deep jungle, submerged in a secret lake. As we close in on our final destination, rounding another bend in the river, my heart sinks. Yet another obstacle.
I don't think we're going to tackle those falls today. I think the thing to do is make a camp here and then see how far we can get tomorrow.
The hidden lake will have to wait. As usual, there's no time to dwell on things. We have to set up camp and catch an evening meal before darkness falls.
We're just anchored up, just down from the falls, just off the main push that comes out of the fall.
As I fish for supper, my mind is preoccupied with a monster that waits in a hidden lake. But we'll need a hearty meal tonight to give us enough energy to get over the falls tomorrow. So I need to focus on my task. Once again, the piranhas are coming between me and our supper.
Look at that mess that made of that. That's piranha, I think.
To prevent them from biting through the line, I'm using a wire trace. But even that is not immune to their razor-sharp teeth.
Something's on here, just waiting for it to take. Yes, yes, come on, come on. Come on, come on. No. State of... That was a new leader 2 casts ago. Something has not only eaten the bait, but it's sort of tried to eat the wire as well. Some fairly crazy water, this. Never ceases to amaze me, just the kind of water that you sometimes find fish in. But generally, with the waters like this, fast and powerful, then you've got big, powerful fish. Ah! Shit. We're just getting through bait. Just going through bait.
Our only option is to wait until nightfall, when piranhas scatter. This is when bigger and badder fish come out to play.
Yeah, that's a fish on, good fish. In some ridiculous water. And in the dark. Doesn't get much more crazy than this. Oh. It's actually under the boat.
It's a good-sized wolffish.
So here we are, we're moored right below the falls here. Ridiculous water, we're just on the edge of the real push, and then a bit of a slack down there. And you've got to be a fairly serious fish to cope with this water, but look at this. This is what they call a Hymara here. Very toothy. Just one more of the monsters living under the water here.
But there's little celebration. This is not trophy hunting, but sustenance fishing. All it means is that tonight we won't go to bed hungry. In the morning, I'm energized by the thought that I will soon finally reach the hidden lake I've come so far to see. It seems this portage is going on forever, but I believe at the end I will fulfill a lifetime ambition. An ambition that has taken me 25 years, 5 weeks, and hundreds of river miles to achieve.
Fish on, fish on!
To come face to face with a monster from a lost world.
I made it.
After 5 weeks and hundreds of miles of traveling along South America's Essequibo River, I have finally penetrated the heart of this lost world of monsters. With the help of my Makushi Indian guides, Rovin and Dennis, I've been brought to a place of dreams. A secret lost lake hidden deep within an unbroken jungle and said to hold a freshwater monster. There's only one thing left for me to do: tackle up and get a line in the water. This water, this location, all speaks to me of a fish I have spent a lifetime hunting. Rovin and Dennis have described the shape and habits of the monster fish that lives here. I almost dare not breathe its name. It sounds like a creature I have done battle with before, perhaps the mightiest freshwater fish of them all. But in this perfect isolation, could what I hope to confront actually be something new? But this lake hides more than just a monstrous fish. We are definitely not alone. A shape I recognize comes to investigate. It's a black caiman. I've already seen what these creatures are capable of, and it's unnerving having it so close.
This caiman keeps swimming up and down right in front of where I'm trying to fish. And one thing I don't want to happen is for it to get tangled in the line. That wouldn't be too clever. So I'm just trying to sink the line. I'll try to continue fishing while this is coming backwards and forwards. It's It's getting uncomfortably close, and it's actually pointing in my direction. This is interesting. Normally, it's the human being creeping up on the wildlife to have a look at the wildlife. Roles are a bit reversed here. This caiman seems far too interested in me.
But then, I suppose, we are the invaders in its domain. And like that anaconda, it seems that this beast has no fear of people whatsoever. But I'm here for another monster. I keep scanning the surface of the water. If it is what I think it is, then it will give itself away in time. Then I see it, a signature on the surface, a signature that I would recognize anywhere. It's the only chink in its prehistoric armor, its need to breathe air. I'm sure that these are the signs of what is possibly the largest freshwater fish in the world, and one of my greatest adversaries. A fish that I believe has killed fishermen in the Amazon, knocking them out of their canoes in remote lakes. Lakes like this one. A fish that once smashed into my chest and left me in pain for weeks. I've entered the lair of one of the greatest freshwater giants of them all, the arapaima, growing to 10 feet in length with a weight of over 400 pounds. But out here, in this perfect isolation, could they grow even bigger than any I have ever seen? The stakes are suddenly higher than I could have ever imagined.
Fish on! Fish on!
In the greatest monster quest of my career, I've traveled hundreds of miles through one of the world's last true wildernesses to discover a secret lake, home to a river monster. Its behavior under the surface tells me it's likely to be one of my greatest adversaries.
Fish on! Fish on!
The arapaima. It's not coming quietly. Dennis keeps an eye out for other dangers. An unstable canoe and a curious caiman could prove interesting. Out here, in this extreme isolation, I can't help but wonder if this beast is perhaps different from the Brazilian arapaima with which I'm familiar. But right now, all that links me to what could be the greatest catch of my life is a slender fishing line. Too big to try and haul it into the boat, so we're going to work it towards the water's edge. But if it tangles in any of these trees, the game is over, and there's the added excitement of the resident caiman, which has still got its eye on me. But this is it. This is why I'm here, if I can just get it in.
Can I give you the rod, Robin? As soon as I grab this, can I give you the rod? Okay.
I've caught the monster of the lost lake.
I knew it. Monsters do exist in this place. Wonderful, deep-bodied arapaima.
It's the crowning glory of the greatest and most extraordinary monster hunt of my career. Never have I encountered so many monsters in just one river system. But this catch could hold an even greater surprise. The arapaima of the Essequibo are so remote and isolated from the Amazonian population that I can't help but think that these fish could potentially be a new species. So I take a scale. It won't harm the fish, but it will contain the DNA that could prove it's new to science.
Yeah.
Then I release my prize, back to where it came from.
Oh, good, lovely. And it's going. Yeah.
It's amazing to think that so many monsters exist out here, but their presence is so important.
In many people's books, a monster is something that makes you frightened, but what makes me really frightened is the idea of a world where the monsters have all gone.
Because when that has happened, it's a sign that the world's wild frontiers are no more. But with their guardians, the makushi, there is hope for the survival of the monsters of the Essequibo. And this journey that started with 2 brothers, for me, it now feels more like 3. The Brotherhood of Fishermen. For them to reveal their secrets to me has been a great honor. This place will live long in my memory. And it occurs to me that in my desire to find the hidden monsters of this lost world, one was with me every step of my way. The river itself. And it has one last awesome surprise. It's one of the greatest natural wonders of the world. And after all my exertions and hardships over the past 40 days,
1, 2, it's the big one. 3! Ah!
with friends made and monsters discovered,
Jeremy.
I'm hoping this will be a fitting end to the greatest adventure of my life.
And this is it. Kaichua Falls. Single drop, 741 feet high. That's 5 times the height of Niagara.
Despite landing on Guyanese shores just before 1500, it took Europeans more than 350 years to find these falls. How could all those explorers have missed one of the largest waterfalls in the world? The answer is simple. Because it's part of a unique river system that still hides some of the world's last monsters.